Are you struggling to get your website noticed by Google? Wondering why your site doesn't appear in search results? In just a few minutes, I'm going to show you how to unlock the full potential of your website with a Google console. We'll look at the easiest ways to set up your site, including an option with Google Analytics and one with something called HTML tags. All of this will be done using a WordPress website. Not only this simple setup will put your site on Google's radar, but it will also give you incredible insights into how your site is performing, what your visitors are looking for, and how you can skyrocket your traffic. Let's go. First and foremost, we have to get to this point, the point where we're actually going to add a new property to our Google Console search. Don't you worry, if you haven't done this before and there is no website linked to your Gmail or Google account, then it's not a problem. This is literally the first thing that you will be shown when you click on the link in the show notes that gets you to the landing page of the Google Search Console. And you just click on Get Started. However, if you already have a property or you already set up Google Console in the past, you will find that all you have to do is click on here and do Add Property. There we go. So all we're going to have to do now is choose the way that we are going to add this property, aka this new website. As I mentioned, there are two options that are the simplest ones, and you only have to do one out of all the different ways that you can obviously validate your property and website, basically validate your ownership. We're going to first look at how to do this through Google Analytics. With a website that hasn't been linked to Google Analytics yet, and we want to make sure that our WordPress site, first and foremost, is hooked up to Google Analytics, which means we're now going to move into our WordPress site. Oh, hello, WordPress site. What we are going to do is, first and foremost, we're going to go to our Add New Plugins and we're going to type Google Analytics. And one of my favorites is Monster Insights Analytics. I absolutely love it, and I think it's a great tool that can help us also see at a glance our analytics inside our WordPress site. And this is what I would go and install and activate now. As always with most plugins now, it actually tells us what to do next, which is very appreciated because there's a lot of steps, and I love the fact that the plugins themselves actually give us a hand here. So we're just going to go down, and you can even just launch the wizard and that will do it literally for you. Once we've found the right connection and the right account, it's going to make sure that it checks that we got the right analytics property. Make sure that in this case is my personal website, FAVE Giovanetti, so I'm happy with that. It's GA4, and so I'm going to complete the connection without getting marketing emails. Then we'll get a confirmation that tracking analytics are set up, which means, yay, we did it all right, and we now have fully connected our WordPress with our analytics. Once we have connected our Google Analytics with our WordPress site, we can now go ahead with the next step, which is actually going to connect the website itself with our Google Search Console. After all the hard work, it's now time for us to make sure that we add the right property. So what we're going to do, we're going to choose the URL prefix option, and I'm going to put the domain of the website that I just added and connected Google Analytics on WordPress. If I'm happy with the URL, I'm just going to click on continue, and it will do all the magic by itself. It verifies the property for me. It found it and it says ownership auto verified, which means it did it all because it found it in Google Analytics and I hooked it up properly. So I'm going to click on go to property now because it's going to start setting itself up. The beauty of this is that we are done. And now all we have to do is wait for all the data, all the insights to come in. As you see, it will take about a day or so. However, I also wanted to show you for this setup video one more option that you can use. This is, in my opinion, the easiest anyway. I went into settings, and obviously here you can see that we're the verified owner of this specific property, which is basically another name for website. However, you can choose other options that can be a bit more technical. I always love to say this and to remind us of that. So if you have an option that is still a bit technical, but maybe not too much, that would be to actually add an HTML tag on your site's homepage. In order to do that, you will need to add a tiny little bit of code into your website, and you will have to copy it and then add it. Let's see how we can do that in WordPress. I'm back into my plugins. I'm going to add a new plugin, and this one is called Header Tags. And hopefully we'll find the one that I need. There we go. You can use whichever, to be very honest. This is one of the latest ones, so I'm going to go with a WP code one. The important thing is that I can add header and footer injection, but there are plenty that will do the trick. Once we have activated it, we can now look at install plugins and go to the right plugin to add the piece of code that we have seen was prompted to use for the verification. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go to code snippets and do header and footer, and that's where I'm going to put it. And I'm going to put it right in this header. So let's go and grab that little piece of code that we need. Here it is, that's where the code lives. All I'm going to do is copy it, and then I'm going to add it to my WordPress. We see the header, we're just going to paste it, a little bit of that. And then I would save the changes, and then after that, I will go back into my Edit tab and verify ownership. This is literally as simple as it gets. This is it. So if I didn't do the other verification, I would have clicked on verify and I would have done this instead. But obviously we already did that, which means high five all around for all of us because we're pretty much awesome. I want to show you very briefly some of the data that you can gather when you actually have set up your Search Console so that you get an idea of the wealth of information that you can get to really supercharge your SEO. But this obviously is all about setting up, just to give us a bit of a sneak peek of why it's important that we do this kind of setup. Hands up, I'm a marketer, I love data. So for me, this is literally my love language. This is the language that I want to speak all day. It's impressions, it's clicks, it's pages, it's searches. All of this you can gather for your website. And on top of that, there's so many other things that Google will tell you to make your website even better and more optimized for SEO. If you ask me, this is literally marketing nerd heaven. Still, we have done our amazing work. We set up our Google Analytics if we hadn't done it already. We hooked our website to Google Search Console. And now we'll just sit back, relax, have a caffeinated or non-caffeinated drink, I'm not judging, and waiting for all the amazing analytics and data to come your way. I would love to hear in the comments if you would be interested in any more videos that dive deeper into Search Console, because this might actually become a series in itself. But for now, well done for everything you've done. Make sure that you go and check the show notes to find out some of the links to the plugins that I mentioned too. Good luck with your Google Search Console journey. And as always, don't forget to be kind to yourself and others. And the best marketing is not just about minds, it's also about hearts. And until next time, class is dismissed.